welcome all you Bi-Conic Wrestling family to the Bi-Conics Review of Honor. We are so glad to be back here to review Honor Club episode 54 from the 7th of March, 2024. We have the crew inbound here. We've got Mikey El Jefe. We have Jesse. We've got Andrew back. Hi there, Big Papa. And we've got me, JBL, here in my own spot as well. We are excited to bring you our review and our thought about the shortest ROH we have seen in the time we've been reviewing this. That at least is a point in its bag right now. We are also excited to tell you a couple big things here. First off, if you found us here because you are subscribed, thank you for subscribing here. Have you clicked the alert bell? We'd love for you to do that so you get all of our other content for all the other wrestling during the week. If not, and the algorithm brought you here, hi, welcome. Us four lovely people, we love to review all types of wrestling and give our opinions on it. And since we're all part of the LGBTQ community, or at least allies in that respect, we like to bring ourselves together to give that perspective on it as well. So welcome here. Hopefully you'll stay with us for a while. If you haven't also, follow us on all the socials, BC WrestlePod on pretty much every platform there. We also do live streams every once in a while for our Patreon backers. That's right, we have a Patreon. And as well as for other people on YouTube, Twitch, and a bunch of other places. So support us if you want to see our live, no-filter reactions. Believe me, the amount of jokes per minute gets a little tiring for all of us. It's very fun.
I'm telling you, the Revolution review did very well.
I'm glad to hear it because they can only go up from there, especially when we all are going to be live reviewing Supercard of Honor in a month, which is going to be fun. But finally, the last thing we can give you here, if you don't leave comments, if you don't subscribe, nothing else, but you still want to get that essence of BC WrestlePod, of the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast, come to New Jersey. And I know, believe me, it's New Jersey, but I know we're going to be there for New Jersey WrestleCon. Most of the East Coast boys, maybe one or two of the West Coasters are going to be there. We're going to be tabling. We're going to be meeting people. We're going to allow you to visually give us a hug. And then if we consent, maybe a real one, we'll see. I'm going to beg to know why you haven't, commented on any of the videos. And then we're going to try to see our favorite wrestlers. So come see us there, May 18th and 19th. We'll be live and in person, like we all would like to be for ourselves, because I don't think half of us have met each other. Yes.
Also, understand that you may want to get yourself prepared early, your travel plans, because a great man once said and wrote, "Do not underestimate the alluring power of the Garden State."
That is a very wise man in that respect. And so we take that advice to heart, because the armpit of America calls us all. So, we are here. I know, I'm going to get us all of our New Jersey faithful, all three of you. I apologize. I love you. The boardwalk is beautiful. Atlantic City needs some work. I've driven through your state many times, and please just give me all the crap. It's not Mikey's fault. So, we're here. We're watching ROH. I'm in rare form tonight. We're watching ROH, and we start our night off with the quarterfinal match in the Women's Television Tag Tournament. Leyla Hirsch taking on Red Velvet. And, gentlemen, I was excited going into this for a lot of reasons, but I wanted to see if Leyla could hit that next gear in her matches against someone who was a little bit more seasoned. I think that Leyla was cooking here, and I think Red Velvet totally made a good cake and kicked it right out of the oven. We had a heck of a match tonight. This was my match of the night.
This was my match of the night as well. There's a few things I picked up on. It seemed, especially in the beginning of the match, they were both kind of employing heel tactics. So I'm like, I don't know who to root for, and it didn't seem like anyone else did. There was definitely a counter slap or the corner slap from Red Velvet. That was definitely a receipt, because it looked like she may have popped Layla's eardrum. Like that wasn't snug. That was just full on. I thought it was a really good match. They both got some good offense in. I really like Red Velvet going and using that short arm scissors and consistently using it. Leyla Hirsch's moonsault is really underrated. That thing was beautiful.
She gets rotation that you don't expect from that level. It's really cool.
And I was honestly shocked by the ending. I thought Leyla Hirsch was going to go through this. So I wasn't disappointed, but I was definitely surprised by the ending here.
Exactly, which leaves you wanting more, which is great. Yeah. Andrew, how'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, this was a super hard-hitting match. I like how physical both of them were. For me, this was probably Layla's best match since she faced Athena. And this just showed why Red Velvet should also be at the top. I feel like she had a very telling moment with this match, similar to Queen Aminata facing Taya. So it's kind of nice to see these younger, newer performers kind of getting brought up. Not that like Leyla's an older performer or anything like that, but I think she's more recognized for some of the indie stuff she's done, and in Ring of Honor she's been around for the last year or so. So this was a great match. I love it. It was my match of the night as well, and it got me super hyped for Red Velvet going forward in this tournament.
Mikey, two of your favorites going up against each other in the semifinals. As we get this out of here, how are you feeling right now as the kind of representative one booking this through?
Listen, I'm excited that the next match between Red Velvet and Queen Aminata is going to be the epitome of black girl magic, which is very important to me as a POC person, to see a lot of POC wrestlers get the shine they do deserve. What I appreciated about this match too is Leyla is always going to be a standout in the ring for me. She did very good this match, but if I'm being completely honest, and nothing to take away from Leyla, but to see Red Velvet's journey from where she started in this multiverse of the companies to where she has landed now, going from being sort of valet with Jade and the baddies to being her own person and being able to have really great matches with some amazing talent, is super fantastic to watch. And that was pleasantly surprised. I'm going to be honest, I thought Leyla was going to pick up the win here because, you know, she's been more established in Ring of Honor. She's been there a little bit longer. Red Velvet has been here for only the last couple months, but I was pleasantly surprised to see Red pick up the victory here. And what I'm enjoying so far about this tournament is, one, my preconceived notions of who I think is going to end up is always challenged, and that all my, picks always get thrown out the window. But what I appreciate is that so far, at least from, who's been advancing, we're seeing a lot of the up-and-coming stars of Ring of Honor get their shine.
Yeah,
and of course, all
really
of them happen to be on the younger side, like less than 9-10 years of in-ring experience, too, being able to shine the way they do. We're going to talk about another match that's going to be happening very soon with another individual who had their match later on, which also has me very excited for different reasons. But I thought this was fantastic. I'm 4 out of 4 with this one. This was also my match of the night. This was fantastic.
100%. We were very happy to have this as our opener, and as we discussed offline, it really was the way to start a show, the way to showcase everything. We were very good there. We cut backstage from a wonderful match to the Infantry doing their promo, and they're talking about their merch and how they've been coming up from things, and they start to do some posing and some other posing, and not severely calling out something, but the minute that Carly Bravo gets all the way up with the tongue out, I love that he asks him, "How do you feel?" Like an idiot. Way to call out the Outrunners. Way to get this set up. I enjoyed this. I don't know about you two.
It worked enough. It did its job. It was silly in the right kind of way, and it worked for I don't even know if I want to say continuing because it hasn't really started yet, but the feud with the Outrunners. So, I'm
Are
okay
you buying
it
the Infantry merch now?
Best thing? No, I'm not buying the Infantry merch now. there are other talent I want to support before the Infantry.
I will say that Infantry shirt's pretty dope. I liked it.
Clash. We got a clash inside here. Jeez.
I didn't say I was going to buy it. I just said I liked it.
Oh, okay. Why not, Andrew? Come on. No, we don't understand why. Mikey, how'd you feel there? Did you feel also that Trish Adora was used enough in this? She felt like she was a bit of a background character to me every once in a while.
So in a weird way, yes, I agree that Trish was kind of more of the background for this. But knowing about what's going to happen for her over the next couple of weeks, I'm not too upset about it. I'm going to be seeing her very soon on Collision. And I believe she's going somewhere else. I think Stardom was somewhere I saw too. So I was like, you know what? Trish is going to be out here doing things, so I'm not worried about it. I'm very happy that this is continuing because I'm going to be completely honest. My brain is the mental capacity of a pinto bean. So when the Infantry reminded me that, a few weeks ago they confronted the Outrunners, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this because we're rotating storylines, which I appreciate because last week was all about Dalton Castle and the custody of the boys and the TVs.
Don't you dare bring up that
Too
horrible moment. I have not recovered from that. Please don't bring that up.
Too bad. It's life. It happens. I'm sad too. But I'm glad that I got that reminder that we're feuding with the Outrunners, kind of. But I'm more excited to see, and hopefully this goes into a feud leading into Supercard of Honor between the two teams, because I think that'd be fantastic.
It will be fantastic. It will be comedy and hard-hitting at the same time. We then transfer back to our wonderful staging area as we get to the ring, and Abidon is making their way to the ring. They have a match tonight. It's not in the tournament. I do like the fact that they are at least giving more time, because maybe people are not as familiar with Abidon and ROH. Make them look stronger. Don't have them just be in this tournament. Like, they're going to do other things. That she's taking on. They're taking on JD Azul. That's what it was. Judy Azul. And a bit of a squash match, a really big squash match, though. I did enjoy the selling that JD did when the hand was brought out for the code of honor. Like, I don't know. And then you get the shake their hand chants, which I thought was perfect. Like, the crowd was into that bit of it. How did you all enjoy this match?
It was a squash match. I'm not crazy about them all the time. I did like the moment where Abidon was staring directly at Mercedes as they hit the Black Dahlia. I really liked that part of it. But aside from that, it was a squash match. I was happy to see Abidon. Always Ab.
Yeah, I was a little confused at the beginning of this match because I was surprised to see any of the people still in the tournament competing in the middle of the tournament outside of it. So I was confused. I was like, wait, did someone get injured? Is Abidon facing her because this is a replacement? Like, what's going on?
I actually had to go back and look at the bracket that they showed earlier to be like, wait a second, I think I missed something here.
No, we didn't miss anything, unfortunately.
But I did like, they brought out Mercedes, so they kept the whole story of the two of them facing each other. And I really, like Jesse was saying, I really liked how Abidon didn't get flustered or distracted by Mercedes came out. That actually motivated them, that they were just, like, it could have been a normal match, and then Mercedes came out and was just like, and Abidon was just like, all right, I'm going to finish this now. And just had no fear, and it really made Mercedes, who we know is a tough competitor, feel like she was having to kind of puff up her chest to show she wasn't afraid of Abidon, and Abidon was like, no, you should be afraid.
Yeah, Mercedes kept repeating it over and over. I ain't afraid of you. I see you. I know you. And all Abidon had to do was slide under the ropes and just give a little wave.
I'm always a huge fan when Abidon's in the ring. Yes, this was a squash match, but I think what I took away from it is what everyone else has said so far. The important thing is what happened at the end, just the stare down and Abidon never losing eye contact with Mercedes as they hit the finisher for, to pick up the victory too. And the story that's going into this, even though the threads are very faint, what I love is that Mercedes has been through a lot. For those who know about her personal history and her wrestling journey, she has gone through a lot. She is a tough woman for sure. And what I love is that it has embodied into her character that she's not afraid of anything or anyone. But this is the first time that Mercedes has gone up against anything that is not of this realm, so to speak, in the form of Abdon. And there's a very interesting dichotomy. I don't want to get too philosophical about it, but there's an interesting dichotomy of, Mercedes being mortal.
I got to put on my philosophy stuff here. I got to get ready for class. It's 8 a.m. All right, I'm ready. I'm in. Let's go. I'm here.
Forget you. Anyways, it's just something so interesting because we know Mercedes to be such a badass, but how is she going to respond against someone like Abidon, who is very unorthodox in their style of wrestling? But even more so is that you can't pinpoint what they're going to do next or what they are thinking of, what's going to be the next thing they do. So Mercedes is going to have to work a little smarter if she's going to be able to beat Abidon and move on to the next round. I love those little details, so this was a lot of fun for me.
So, a squash match, it got the storyline over. We enjoyed that. We go backstage to another continuing storyline, and I enjoy how they've been beginning promos like this, where the camera is following someone. They acknowledge the camera's there. As SAP, as Spanish Announce Project, drag us backstage, and they find Maria hanging out by herself with the mask in her coat. And they, instead of taking it from her, basically threaten her and then threaten to beat up her boys. And nothing comes of it. It's a little strange. I mean, not unexpected, but, because they're not going to show, the female presenting wrestler getting beaten up by two male presenting wrestlers. That would be bad. But it's still just a strange interaction. I don't know how you all felt about that.
It was weird. It was weird. It served its purpose barely. It existed. I'm good.
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
I think compared to some of the other backstage segments we've gotten with this feud, it felt kind of off because we were missing a good portion of it, and they didn't really address that too much. So luckily it didn't go on for too long, so it did kind of continue the thread, but just barely.
I can see what they were trying to go for, but I feel that the execution was not necessarily with this. On the one hand, I can see why they didn't grab the mask from Maria Kanellis, as JVL pointed out. But I feel that there were other things that they could have did. There are a whole plethora of ideas that we could have went about, continuing this feud and continuing this storyline, which is cool and everything. I just think when we pair this to, cameraman almost missing the shot of what happened at the end of our main event of that story beat, I feel that the connection was very thinly there, and it didn't help that the Mama's Boys weren't anywhere to be seen in this episode, which is really hard to have a feud, and we've talked about this multiple occasions on various other platforms. It's very hard to get a feud and for us to be interested in it if the people that are feuding are not seen on Ring of Honor television for so long.
It's true.
If you're not going to be there in person, the least you can do is do some pre-tape promos, pre-tape segments. Like, at least remind us, be like, oh yeah, they're still around. They may not be there in person, but they're still there. But
Or
we got
else you're
no
going to get
pre-tapes.
fired by the EVPs.
Well.
That's from Dynamite. We talked about that earlier, but I'm just saying.
They don't watch this show.
No, they don't.
I do, unfortunately, so I know all the crossovers, but I can see, again, I saw where they were going with this backstage segment with these three, but the execution was not there.
Definitely not. And talking about execution not being there as well, if you're going to show us what's happening in an arena and then you cut to an obviously different arena, including the fact that it's the new Dynamite set, which, as we've discussed, I'm very for. I enjoy this Dynamite set so much. At least call it out, like say we've transitioned in that. Like, this is the first time I haven't heard Ian or Caprice say, "Oh, we're moving to another location when we do it," and they did that for when they did the Daly's place. So it was very strange. And then on top of that, John Cruz comes out with his wonderful entrance, just telling people that's his name, that's him. He's really pointing out he's not Serpentico. And he wrestled somebody, and I don't remember who it was because I blocked it out. It was just very, very boring. I'm sorry. It was Big Shotty Lee Johnson. John Cruz outshone Big Shotty Lee Johnson by literally healing it up minutely. And that's saying something for this match. I don't know why we had this on there.
I could tell you why we got this match, but you're not going to like my reasoning.
No, I will not like your reasoning, but you're going to do it anyways. But I want Jesse to finish.
I would like that too. John Cruz playing on the steps was the funniest part of it. Stop the Blue Thunder, no. It doesn't work for anyone.
No.
Not even Sami's name?
No, because he never gets a win off of it either. If we're eradicating it from everybody's repertoire, he's the only one who's allowed to do it.
Okay.
John Cruz made the match watchable.
Yes.
But that didn't make it good. I'm done. This got a 2 on my scale.
Whoa, that's pretty
and
high.
That's after the bell curve, because John Cruz did so well in it. I just don't care about Lee Johnson. I don't care. Get him out of here. We see him every week, and I don't care. He doesn't give me anything to care about. Let me miss him.
Can you?
No, not at this rate. Can't forget somebody when they're jammed in your face for 15 minutes every single day, every Thursday or Friday. I know, I'm using my hands, okay? My partner's teasing me off screen right now.
I can say Jesse has a live audience at this point. Andrew, do you feel that Serpentico could have done a better job to get Lee Johnson over?
I would have rather seen Serpentico wrestle John Cruz. Really, my 2 notes for this were John Cruz made this match much more interesting. And Lee Johnson's one attempt at a character trait of punching himself in the jaw to get himself hyped up feels so forced and scripted. Like, they were like, do something so it's like your signature, and that's what he chose, and so he figures he has to do that at some point in the match every time he has a match. It's just, he has clearly great physical skills. It'd be wonderful if they could figure out how to help him build everything else that goes into sports entertainment and professional wrestling.
His missus delivers better promos, and she's can be monotone every once in a while. I love her, but come on.
And for her, they found a great way to use her experience, her lack of experience, to help build her up to the point where she could get stronger and stronger along the way.
Exactly. Mikey's just cackling in the background now.
Mikey's going to say this was his match of the night.
No.
Stellar athlete. Great in-ring worker, not performer. It's just stellar mediocrity with everything else. It's like, that's what he wants his signature to be. I'm going to be mediocre. That's his character.
He's Lee Storm.
Don't insult Lance Storm, okay?
I know, sorry.
I was going to bring that up, the boring, but at least that's memorable. You remember if I say you're boring, you know who that is in the context of wrestling.
All right, Mikey, lay it in. Let's hear why this is your match of the night.
No, I already said what was my match of the night, but this became a close second just from the sheer absurdity of it all. And that's mostly from John Cruz. I love it. So I didn't hate this match as much as everybody else did. I do agree with the reoccurring thought process here that Lee Johnson needs to get some charisma. I think everyone's being a little harsher than I would expect, but I totally understand where everyone's coming from. And I think we kind of found a solution for Lee to be able to kind of build up that charisma, so to speak, because obviously trying to get him over by himself is not working. It hasn't worked. So I keep saying this, you should put him in a faction with people who are very charismatic and then have them help him get to where they need to. That's why the prospect of him being with Tyga Style and Shane Taylor I thought could have been something really fun, because literally you have Lee Moriarty who just exudes charisma in one singular pinky, and like that Lee Johnson has in his whole entire body. Again, the in-ring ability is there. The in-ring talent could use some finesse and it could use some work, but the potential is there. It's just that on his own, he has been struggling and failing to get himself over in terms of the charisma. I think when you get to that, and you guys brought it up, there are some times where you throw people together with others and have them work with them in order to find their style, be more comfortable, and then figure out what works for them. Lee Johnson, for the most part, while he had a stint with the rest of Top Flight and Action Andretti at some iteration, because those four are kind of interchangeable at this point, because they're all over the damn place. Yeah. I don't think he's... The charisma thing still gets me, but I don't think that it's as bad as you guys are making it out to be, though I can understand where you guys are coming from.
I'm wholeheartedly going to disagree with you, and here is my 5 points why. We look back almost even a year when he was getting video packages to sell himself, and they were uncharismatic. He had takes of that. He had someone coaching him, and he couldn't figure it out. And yet from then on, they continued to place him on every card we had for months at a time, trying again to give him those reps, see if something would come of it. We're now a year into this experiment, and we've used him in every match on the card. Opener, closer, middle of the pack, second to last, everything else. And he still can't seem to get out of his own way. Jesse, I believe, is right in this. He needs a complete and utter reset. He needs to go away for us just to forget about him just enough, and when he reappears with some outlandish gimmick like Outrunner number 3, he can at least work on something, because if he's in the middle of it, he's going to be carrying the baggage he's got with him, and the rest of us are like, you're taking spots from people that are established up, that know what they're doing. Hell, there could have been another women's match right here that would have been amazing. We got John Cruz versus Lee Johnson. I don't know what's going on here, but he needs to go away.
Okay.
And I think the problem is that they also are not doing him any favors, because what's the story? What is he, like, let's say he wasn't deficient in charisma, what is he supposed to be selling us? That's the other problem is he's going out and just performing, and there's nothing surrounding it. He's not in a feud with anyone. We don't know his motivation for it. We don't know, like, what his character is. His character is literally, I'm a professional wrestler, and I'm trying to succeed. Like, that's it. And it's not even I came from this, and I'm trying to work my way up. I'm trying to do this thing. I have this. This is my goal. This is what I want to do. Like, there's no script, there's no plot, there's nothing there. So even if he had the charisma to use it, there's nothing to draw on. And then you add the fact that he has less on-screen charisma and acting skills. It makes him just a blank slate. And I agree. I think sending him away and bringing him back with something is only going to make his chances better of getting over, because right now he's got virtually no hope.
He's a creator wrestler from No Mercy on the N64. All the best cool moves, really athletic, but can't speak on the microphone and lets everyone else do his talking for him. Mikey's like, we move on from that from Lee Johnson to Nyla Rose, who is coming to do a Squatch match, taking on a Billy Stark stand-in, and I don't even know it anymore anyways. Someone else fill this in for me, because I cannot write my own writing. I am terrible.
Erica Demia.
Thank you.
Nyla came in having fun.
Yeah.
And just wrecked this person completely. Like, she underestimated Nyla from move one, and it was interesting to see how you could sell a Squatch like that when Nyla is basically like, this is Billy. I'm going to do this to Billy the whole time when I get her.
I was frustrated at first because I was like, oh, another Squatch match. But then Nyla started off with the code of honor, and it's like, okay, wrong hand, wrong fist bump, full hand, and then just smacks her right in the mouth. I was like, okay, that was fun. I enjoyed that. And as much as it was a squash, I did like seeing some of the little bit of offense that Erica had pulled off. I'd like to see what comes of her in her career. I'd like to see more of her.
She's only 18, so I mean, she's really going to have a good career ahead of her.
Yeah, I think this was actually a really good way to really use Nyla at this point, because I think a lot of us we had this match with Nyla versus Athena, and it was an awesome match. It was a PLE quality match that we could have seen at Supercard of Honor, and then it was like, okay, well, we got that. Now, are we going to have a rematch? If they do a rematch, what are they going to do to step it up from that match? Or are we going to move on, which would have kind of felt anticlimactic? So I feel like this match is really Nyla's way of, like, destroying a few more people again before getting back to Athena. So, and if Billy doesn't make it to the final of the women's television title match, then I could definitely see her being the go-home opponent for Nyla heading into Supercard of Honor against Athena.
I can see Nyla costing her that match on purpose, just to set that up, too. That could be coming down the road. Mikey, tell us why you like Lee Johnson. I mean, no, I'm sorry. Go into this. I'm sorry. That's wrong.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize.
No, I am apologizing.
Water off the duck's back.
John, what was Nyla Rose's opponent's name again?
Arnica Denim. Yep.
It's okay. We all get it wrong once in a while. You know, it's fine. I mean, I enjoyed the Squatch match. It did answer my question, because my biggest fear was once she was done with Athena, you know, we weren't going to be able to see Nyla anymore in Ring of Honor. But it seems like she's going to be sticking around for a little bit, which is the smartest decision, or whoever decided that, because I don't want to see Nyla back in the other company in this multiverse of madness, because they don't know how to utilize her very well, and Ring of Honor does. So, and plus, she's a breath of fresh air when it comes to the women's division and what she offers in terms of her character. And we do need monster heels in the women's division, because we have super talented women, but we don't have the archetype filled out yet of big power monster who also has a sense of humor, which is really fantastic. I've been a big supporter of Nyla from day one, and I'm just happy to see that she feels that she's been lifted from whatever baggage or, you know, what has been holding her back for the longest time, and now she's just allowed to be herself. So I'm happy to see her thrive. She continues to impress me just from her sheer power. And, you know, I love that she incorporates the comedic bits. I gets a chuckle out of me every single time. So I thought this was a lot of fun.
Mikey, you're also right in the fact of that even in ROH, while they have a very stacked women's division, all of them kind of play back and forth week to week on who's going to be a heel, who's not. They really have no defined kind of place on that spectrum. Nyla has firmly placed herself as, I am a heel that you're going to want to cheer, and I am a big powerhouse to beat up anybody in my way. That's perfect now. We have our kind of bookends to have. Athena's in a tween part, but Billy, Athena, Nyla. We need more to fill that out. All right. Like I said, this was a quick, very easy breezy ROH because we came to our main event, which was chock full of tag teams. And Andrew, I know. We could have had tag team matches instead of a 4-way survival match. But at the same time, I didn't have to watch for an hour and a half to 2 hours. I was very happy about that. Get out of the way. And really, this was the Jack Cartwheel show to get his butt kicked the entire time and also show off his prowess. We had Jack Cartwheel and Gringo Loco. I got that one right. Versus versus the Infantry, the Horseman, and Spanish Announce Project. The tag klaxon went off very early in this, and everybody was involved. I feel like this was a cluster schmoz, and then Jack Cartwheel ate the pin. Or was it? Yeah, that's basically what it ended up being. So I just don't know why we needed to have that for that. I liked Gringo and Cartwheel to be nice, to be able to go on as a tag team. I think they could work really well together. Andrew, you can bring that up. That's perfect.
Andrew, do you want to kick this one off?
Oh, sure. I was just sharing.
You named them. You just named them.
Yeah, so Ruedas Locas, the crazy wheels, is what I gave to Jack Cartwheel and Gringo Loco. Yeah, this was it was a bit confusing at times because once again we had 8 people in there wrestling each other, and there were even some spots. I think it was the Horseman and Jack Cartwheel were in the ring, and everybody else got taken out. And then it was like everyone was like, "Are you supposed to? Am I going now? Are they out? Who's going?" And so it was just, you hit on the nail on the head when you started. This was, I again would have rather have seen any of these pairings in tag team action. I did expect that either Cartwheel or Gringo Loco were going to take the pin here, and that it was either going to be the Infantry or the Horseman, which I agree with. That when I saw the match, I figured that's how it should be.
Right.
And I did like some of the action that we got. I mean, Jack Cartwheel either sold things insanely or countered things. Like I think it was a Canadian destroyer that he basically just flipped out of and hit multiple back handsprings out of it. So there was some good stuff in there that I enjoyed, but I would have enjoyed that just as much in a different match setting. And again, if we needed to get all of these people on the card tonight, we could have lost the Lee Johnson John Cruz match and split up some of this stuff and had a different match settings, especially because
we could have had 2 matches. It was only 45 minutes.
Yeah. I will say, it was very scary when JD Drake hit the moonsault, because I thought he landed on his head.
He's been getting closer and closer on that spot the last couple of times he's pulled it off. He's getting very, very, very close to Lance Archer territory. Yeah. So let's hope he can at least, take some time and work it out and maybe not do it late into the match again. Jesse.
Not 15 minutes before this, didn't SAP go and yell at Maria that they want a match with the Mama's Boys?
Yep.
They're going to demand a match when they're already booked in a match. Okay. Tag klaxon went off very early for no reason. I felt like the tags did not matter in this whole match because it was, who's the legal person? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. This match doesn't really matter. It's 8 people. Let's throw them all together again. Positive, I want to see Jack Cartwheel versus JD Drake. I want that to be a match. And I think it would be fun if we made that a pure rules match as well.
That'd be hysterical and really good. I love it.
But this whole, as soon as, now these are more final thoughts, but it existed. It was athletic. There were some good spots. Hair still looks like moss. I'm out. I'm done.
Mikey.
Okay. So I agree that this match felt a lot of chaotic, especially there was a lot of hesitancy between certain transitions between spots and, parts of the match. If I'm gonna be completely honest, as much as I love to see Jack Cartwheel, I would have taken out Gringo Loco and Jack, and I would have taken out SAP since we just saw them, then they're already in the storyline, and we could have just got a regular tag team match between the Horseman and the Infantry.
That would have been better.
Which is a matchup that we haven't really seen that often, and I would have loved. I said a lot of, not like we haven't seen it before, but
yeah, I was trying to think back because I remember seeing. I just don't know how recent that was. You're very right in that respect. That it's obviously there's only so many teams that we have on ROH, but still.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to build up, a good team that can go for our non-existent champions of the tag team titles. Yeah, Trigger's all a bunch of you boys, but I feel the exact same ways. I will say, though, at least they've defended it, just not on ROH television. Anyways, Jack Cartwheel continues to be one of my favorite things in Ring of Honor. Funny enough, if we were to kind of pick and choose different aspects of different people from this episode, I actually would have loved to see Jack Cartwheel versus John Cruz for the sheer hilarity of everything that would have been. And I think that would be a fun feud too. You have this happy-go-lucky Jack Cartwheel against the seasoned veteran of John Cruz, who is also very funny in his own right. Also, Jack Cartwheel, if you're watching this, we here at the Bi-Conics would love one of your plushies, please.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the match was serviceable. I didn't think it was anything too fantastic, but it wasn't horrible either. It did get the Infantry the win, which I appreciate because they kind of need the win given the fact that we're about to have them feud with the Outrunners for the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossing that we are, because we've seen them tease feuds and then they drop them like a bad habit. So it's just like, here we go. It was all right. Honestly, I feel that, and this is going to be a big if, I feel that if we swapped what we got for our main event with what opened the show, I feel like I would have been a lot happier and gave it a higher rating than what I currently have, because you start with a fun kind of action pace, and honestly, it would have made more sense from a storytelling booking perspective. You have the shot where the cameraman almost missed Maria coming out with that mask, and then we see SAP go to the back chasing Maria to get that back and wanting to find the mama's place. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was re-edited from something else to put things together and it just was out of order from what they originally were going to do. But Mikey, since you brought it up, let's jump into the empanada scale. What did we think of this show? Mikey, you were already on a roll there. What'd you give it for a rating?
So, I'm going to be completely honest, the opening match, my match of the night, saved a lot of this episode. I thought everything was serviceable. I mean, we did have a dip in the middle. I wasn't as harsh on it as everybody else was, but even still, I gave this a solid, 6.8 out of 10 for me. I don't think that's necessarily a horrible score. It's just that in a 45-minute episode with what we got, I mean, outside of what opened the show, that being my match of the night, everything else felt like we could have changed it or rearranged it or put some people out and put some people in. I wonder if these tapings were probably running into the issue where we had talent hurt and or travel issues, which seems to be going around through multiple promotions at the moment.
Right.
So it doesn't help when you have some of your talent stuck in other places or doing other things. So,
well,
so 6.8 out of 10. I thought it was fine.
Perfect. Jesse, where'd you rate it?
Not very high. This felt like a C episode, like not even a B episode. This is like not even B-roll stuff. This was a C episode. It was very short, like bad coffee. It was weak. It was thin. You've got enough talent up there you're not utilizing. Why bring the Ring of Honor people up to underutilize them? It was going so well. We were, I was giving them 9.5 ratings. We were doing we had a great streak for really good shows. And this is where that story ends. I have no mercy left to give. This got a 4.
Why do you got to bring up Lee Johnson again, man?
Damn. Jesse, I
All
feel
right,
your
Andrew.
pain. Welcome
Come
to
on,
being
Andrew.
a wrestling fan.
Welcome to what?
I
Being
said,
a wrestling fan.
welcome to being a wrestling fan. It's gonna suck sometimes.
Oh yeah, this is my first time too.
Totally. I feel your pain though.
So, this ranked higher than I expected it would because of the first match. I give it a 7.5 for the whole episode. We had 2 squash matches, which were squash matches with 2 top talent in them that could have had more, especially consider when you look at the bulk of the episode. Some of the things had important storylines going in them, but the whole show really, like, it was riding on the back of one really big match and a couple of entertaining moments. The opener could have been the main event. I agree 100% with that. It would have left me feeling a bit better. I started on a high note and just came down. I think even as not great as everything else was, had we ended on that high note, I think we would have come out feeling a lot better. But I'd like to see them start building up more towards Supercard of Honor and doing some quality stuff. And I agree. Both, I could see Mikey's point about the issues that have been plaguing a lot of companies recently, especially AEW. But I think part of the issues plaguing Ring of Honor are AEW. Mm-hmm. So I agree with Jesse in that sense too, is we have one championship out of what they have, like 6 or something, that shows up regularly. Had a storyline that was carrying the company even while that person was out recovering after carrying him for like a year. And it shows no signs of changing. So it puts a lot on the people who are showing up and putting in the work, and then just getting used and abused other places, and it's screwing up Ring of Honor weekly television.
Wise words in that respect. It was the roller coaster it was. The first match carried this entire thing, and I did enjoy the squatches for what they were, but I gave this a 5, and the only thing that knocked it up just a little bit was that it was a 45-minute show, so we knocked it up to a 6. That's where we sat with it. That has been our walk down the Bi-Conics Ring of Honor. We didn't do it at the top, just like Nyla Rose. We're going to put it in at the end, though. Hands in, gentlemen. Observe the code of honor. Thank you, BC WrestlePod fam, and all our new viewers for coming into this and going along for this ride with us. We really appreciate you being here. And for Jesse, for Andrew, for Mikey, and for myself, remember, you are Bi-Conic. We're all together Bi-Conic in our wonderful, lovely ways, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go on from that to a squash match that we got next, where Nyla Rose took on a Billy Starks stand-in in an Erika or Arianica. Erica. I cannot read my writing. Erika Denia, and she is
Demia.
Denia?
Erica Demia.
Dude, come on.
We'll just call her not Billy Starks. How about that?
I'm going to redo this intro and make it better. Hold on. Put this down.
Anemia dementia.
Anemia dementia. Adele Dazeem. Let's go with that.
Idina
Okay,
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.